Salutations everyone, this is Razor here bringing you some domination gameplay on the map Plaza using the Scar, just some filler gameplay for you guys to look at while I talk about the discussion at hand, and that is new for the sake of new. Now this is something that has plagued many platforms of technology over the past few years, and is especially true in the gaming industry, and is something that I really hark on being a plague on the gaming community. And what new for the sake of new basically is when a new version of an existing software or new hardware or an update to a website, whatever it may be, a new version of something or a new type of thing that already exists and making changes to it, regardless if they're good or not, just for the sake of the changes being made, so that they can give the illusion of progress and help grab media head titles and headlines and just garner attention, whether if it's good or bad for whatever it is it may be. It's just new for the sake of new. Whether it's good or bad, it's just the fact that they're making changes. That's what new for the sake of new is. And the problem that I have against this is that it makes whatever venture it is, whatever platform it is, it makes the progression of that technology or software, hardware, it makes it stagnant. It holds it back because advancements are not being made where they should be. They're just changes being made just so they can grab that headline. Like, bam, brand new in this thing has this thing that wasn't existing beforehand. That's all they really want. The press will feed off of this because they're like, oh, here's something new. This is what people want to hear about because it's not like the previous Call of Duty or the previous console or the previous version of this software. Whatever it may be, that's what's going to grab headlines, and that's what's going to get people's attention because people are simple, stupid creatures that get distracted by the shiny things. They'll see something new and they'll be like, oh, this is new, and all of a sudden they get excited. Rather, if intrinsically that new thing is good or bad, it doesn't really matter. It gets people talking about it, and that's really all the corporation or developer or company really cares about. You see this all the time when like Facebook or YouTube has a new layout that completely doesn't make any sense. That's worse than the previous version. That makes changes that make absolutely no sense, but it keeps them in the limelight. It keeps people talking about it, whatever it may be, a website, a game, whatever platform it may be. It keeps people to talk about it, whether if they're, oh, maybe this change will be good, or man, I really hate these changes. Whatever it is, no press is bad press for many people because it gets their name out there, it gets people talking about it, and maybe it helps sell units. I'm not sure. It's a case by case basis, but you know what I'm getting at. It gets people talking about it, and for many corporations, that's basically all that they were going after. Maybe they lose sales because of this thing that they were pushing out, or maybe they gain sales. They don't really know. It's just that people are talking about it, so that's just a good thing to them. And that's something that consumers feed into. Like, you can take the Call of Duty uh, franchise, for example. What have the Call of Duty franchise that's just new for the sake of new? I'm not talking about like new game modes or stuff that like changes the way that the game is made, because those are actual changes that affect the game, that have both good and bad consequences. But change the way that the game is played or the way that you experience it. But there are a lot of other changes that are only made for the sole purpose of this is a new thing, so people can talk about it and hopefully get amped up for it. Like in Black Ops 1, they had interactive maps and they kept pushing this. Like, oh, you press this button in whatever the hell the map was, Radiation, and it opens up the thing. Or you press this, or you can slide down this zip line, and like that gets people excited. Like, oh, cool, that's new and exciting, even though it adds nothing to the game. They're bad for the map. They're bad for competition. People can exploit these different types of things, or they don't add anything at all. That could be the case. But it gets people talking about it, and they'll just push this over and over again. It's like we have these new interactive elements to the maps, and they'll keep playing into that. They'll keep advertising that because it grabs the headlines, and to many people it'll sound cool. Like to your mom who doesn't know anything about video games, she'll read, "Oh, they have this Connect bundle with the Xbox One. You can have voice chat and you can move the screen with your hands. That's really cool." When in real life, this technology is nowhere near good enough to be part of a gaming system, or especially for it to be absolutely mandatory for you to do certain actions. Like I've said this before, voice recognition is one of the hardest technologies to deal with. It didn't work in the 90s, it didn't work in 2000s, and guess what? It's not going to work this decade. Maybe it doesn't work next decade, maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't work for another 2 or 3 decades, but some of this stuff people only push out just so they can grab that headline because this is new, and that's what gets people excited that don't really know any better. Like you saw the trailer for Black Ops 2, and the dude planted that assault shield down on the ground. And people are like, "Whoa, that's new!" And they get excited, even though in real life, if they think about it, like, "Oh, no one uses the assault shields, and that's really not going to make it a better weapon if I can throw it on the ground." But people see like, "Oh, that's new," and they get excited about it, and that's really all the developers are shooting for. And that's they succeed in that, and it just feeds into it. It reinforces them to do more things like that in the future. Like they oversell absolutely everything that they do, and a lot of it is detrimental to the game's progress. Like the interactive parts of maps it just holds the game back. It's absolutely frivolity at its highest. Sure, some stuff like customization doesn't really intrinsically matter, but it's kind of cool. It's like, oh, I can have a color that I want to pick. That cool stuff is nice and all that. But when they add things like the millimeter scanner, they totally oversold that. They were like, this is going to be the anti-camper weapon. This one attachment is going to stop camping in the game, and they would not stop overselling that. And of course, when it comes to the game getting launched, no one uses the millimeter scanner. It's really not that more useful than a red dot. Occasionally you'll see someone hiding behind a wall and search and destroy when you wouldn't have otherwise, but it doesn't change the game really at all. It's just really change for the sake of change. They'll make all these different kinds of attachments or score streaks and stuff, and they'll say like, "Oh, this is new and this is cool," even though it can be completely useless. They'll just completely oversell the thing, and people will get hyped up just for the fact that it's new. But if you were really critical about these things, or if you pay attention and care about whatever franchise it may be, you take a close look at these changes that they're making and be like, "Oh, well, that doesn't really affect the game at all. Why are people getting excited for this shit?" And you see the same thing with like the new consoles come out, like with Kinect being bundled with the Xbox One. That'll grab some headlines because, oh, you could voice activation, all this stuff. Like, oh, you can watch YouTube and you can use Facebook on Xbox. Like, who cares? Who cares? When Facebook integration got added on the 360 and then later the PS3, who really cared? Yet it grabbed headlines, it got people excited and talked about it. But it was really just new for the sake of new, and we keep seeing this over and over and over again with both software and hardware, and it just drives me nuts. And people are just absolutely blind to it, and they just help feed into this machine. So let me know what you guys think about this subject in the comments section below. We can have a nice little discussion about it, and I will catch you guys next time.